Every morning is different. Every morning is new. Sorry, I should do that more slowly or zoom out. Today we have Exodus speaking to us about the dwelling. We're at the end of the book of Exodus. People have come out of Egypt and a dwelling for God, for His presence. God is everywhere. Just looking at this sky this morning, at these relatively unmovable rocks. At Mount Hermon, it's actually there, that little grey shadow in the middle above those hills is Mount Hermon. I don't know if you can tell, it's just rising above those hills around the Sea of Galilee there beyond the Mount of Beatitudes. And you see that little grey silhouette, that's Mount Hermon. The whole cosmos is, God is present. But we human beings long for localizing, encountering Him. And God is fair game. He says, okay, I'm game. I will do that for you. And He gives instructions to Moses to build the dwelling. In a way, every human being is God's dwelling, made in His image and likeness. And then the human effort to make a dwelling appropriate, to have a place to go, to encounter God. And God is everywhere. He transcends all time and space. And yet this deep longing, here we can not only climb up to Mount Arbel, but we can even go beyond to the moon, circling the earth in its waning phase, the waning full moon. Something went funny there with the focus on me. And the precise instructions God gives to Moses, which also reflect a lot in those chapters speaking about the dwelling on the temple in Jerusalem. And there we can find also some traces and cues about the formation of the book of Exodus. And then we go on to this whole idea of dwelling among us. God goes and travels with his people. That dwelling can stop where they stop. And he's there within reach. God with us, Emmanuel, faithfully with us. The doubt I had the other morning about a tree up there with similar fruit was removed when I compared the leaves with one that I was sure was the Spina Christi, so it's the same tree, it's just producing fruit at a different moment. Some of them have ripe fruit, others are just starting. Somebody did some cutting here and left it here. I don't understand the logic, but that's life. Well, this bush was growing out on the road, so I guess that's the logic, but they didn't finish the job. But they built the dwelling place and finished the job, and the dwelling is moving with them. And then we have an extraordinary localization of the presence in the incarnation, and the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, tabernacled among us, would be the technical word in the prologue of John's Gospel. People love to have a little spot in their home, being fully aware that God is everywhere in their home, but they still have a little spot, a devotional corner. Maybe even some have a chapel where they go to pray, to have quiet time, to connect more deeply with God. And they know very well that God is with them when they're driving, when they're at the supermarket, when they see a poor person, when they see somebody in need, a child crying. That God dwells in us. His dwelling is in us. There's a great teaching, very developed teaching on the indwelling of the Holy Spirit, the indwelling of the Trinity. These are very strong foundations and strengthening of sensitivity to the respect that's due to a human being. And that's why it's very incumbent on us, so inspired by this faith, to treat every human being with the utmost respect. Like, who would take that flower and stomp on it right now out of some hatred? And it's only going to last a few days. And a human being called to last forever, made in the image and likeness of God. And if we visit in the Gospel, it's very interesting. The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and he came to live in our homes. And today there was one home where he had special friendship with 3 siblings. Maybe they were of a similar age. The Gospel doesn't tell us the background to that friendship. But Jesus was at home there with Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. And today we remember them and the importance of that friendship, that conviviality. It's another expression of the incarnation. He became flesh and dwelt among us. And we have seen his glory, the glory of the only begotten Son. And he could come in and have a meal with us. He could chat with us. We could prepare a meal for him. And we could enter into the friendship, into that familiarity, familiarity. And then familiarity doesn't necessarily breed contempt at all, because Martha and Mary know what to do when Lazarus is very sick and they send for Jesus. Although they're probably very aware that it's very risky for Jesus because of the hostilities toward his person. And we all know the story of the resurrection of Lazarus. And what's wonderful there is that while they were so intimately friendly with Jesus, in true friendship, so much so that Jesus wept getting close to the tomb of Lazarus, they had this extraordinary faith in him. I believe in the resurrection, that you are the resurrection and the life. You are the one who was sent. So extraordinary familiarity and deep faith. The friendship with Christ leading to a deeper and deeper faith. There's some critter down here because of a splash. It was me, that wasn't just the water. Oh, there is a huge fish, 2 of them. I wonder if we can get into the water to see them. I just saw a big fish, like maybe a carp or a big Peter's fish, tilapia. And there's another one over there. There might be catfish. My eyes aren't sharp enough and they're not clear enough for me. In the tension of Mary's busyness, or Martha's busyness, wanting and claiming that Mary should be helping her, Jesus reminds us it's not really about all the external doing and perfection that counts, but about that friendship, about being able to be together, have time together. And that concept that became very popular some years ago, quality time together, where there's real encounter, real listening, real sharing of the heart. That's a challenge today, especially for very young generations who are only used to speaking through the camera to people, speaking through messaging, the social media, which in itself is a great asset and a great good, but the importance of sitting down eye to eye, of listening without pressure, of sharing, of entering the thoughts of others, hearing their viewpoint, encountering the other. And recognizing the other in the other, indwelling Lord of creation, Redeemer of mankind, present in each one. was touched this morning just listening to that line of the psalm today. Even the sparrow has a place in the temple, can nest in the temple. They're a bit of a problem for us when the birds are nesting in the synagogue because they're dropping all their droppings on it, which is not good for the archaeology. But the eye and heart of that person who penned those lines in that psalm, there in the temple of Jerusalem, even the sparrow has a place for her young in the temple, in God's dwelling. You can feel the heart of that person. You can enter into their observation, their keen observation, and their deep contemplation. People, thank you very much for joining this morning here at the Sea of Galilee. In the beauty of a new morning, a new day. And wishing that your dwelling is a place where you can relax in the depth of your heart with our Creator and Redeemer and our eternal love forever, our ultimate destiny. Thank you for joining us this morning here at the Sea of Galilee with Mount Arbel up here. I don't know if I can get any of it. No, the tree is blocking it here. So that the rock cliff is up there. People, see you later, alligators. Have a blessed day. Invite people into your dwelling. Have friendship. God indwells in us. Let us provide dwelling for others. And the first ones are the closest relatives right there, the kids, the grandkids, the sisters, the siblings, the brothers, the neighbors. See you later.